On this edition of Before the Bell, we take an up-close look at Impact Wrestling's premier spring event of 2023, Rebellion. The road to Rebellion has not gone as planned, but in the ever-changing world of professional wrestling, it rarely does. Plans and strategies can always change, but the overall vision does not. Visions are refined with time. Every day we are dealt a new hand. We must adapt and move forward. This is Before the Bell, Rebellion. The landscape of professional wrestling can change right before our eyes. Injuries can and will happen. It's an unfortunate part of the business of professional wrestling.
People say whatever they want about professional wrestling, but at the end of the day, pro wrestling hurts. It's one of those things like you could step in the wrestling business in day one and get injured. Every time we get in between those ropes, we put our lives on the line. That's not a cliche. That's not us talking, like trying to make professional wrestling seem something that it isn't. That is the God's honest truth.
We get into this, you accept that you're going to be beaten, you're going to be bloodied, you're going to be hurt, and sometimes you're going to be injured, seriously injured. We know that that's a risk anytime we get in that ring, but it's a risk we take because this is what we do and this is what we love.
If you are a pro wrestler, you know damn well that it's not a hobby, it's not a sport. Being a professional wrestler is a lifestyle. Injuries are unavoidable. They will happen. But just like everything in life, it's not about what happens, it's about how you react. It's about rolling with the punches and moving along.
The inevitable is like one of those things that is going to happen. Like, you can't think about it. You just got to go out there and give 110%, and whatever happens, happens.
Injuries happen. There's nothing we can do. We're trained for it. That's what we learned at the beginning of this process of being a professional wrestler. And that's the risk we also take, is learning how to control ourselves, but sometimes things go wrong. And that's one of those things that you can't control. We know it's gonna happen. We don't know when it's gonna happen.
There's no way you can be a pro wrestler without injury, without some kind of, I mean, everything we do in there is damage. It's damage to the body.
I think it was one of those things that before I broke my leg and had the worst injury of my career, it wasn't something that was in my head so much. Because all it takes is one slip, one fall, one bad slam to the mat, and your entire career can be over.
When you go out to the ring, you can't be thinking about injuring yourself because that's when injuries happen. You go out there, you have to lay it all on the line. If you're ever holding back, you'll learn quickly that's when you will hurt yourself.
You get a lot of emotions come across your mind, like how you're gonna provide for your family. I mean, how are you gonna take this time off from doing what you really love to do? But it's part of the game. I mean, some of the sacrifices we put our body through to do what we love.
Josh Alexander is the longest reigning Impact Wrestling World Champion in the company's 20-plus year history. He was set to defend the company's top prize in his hometown of Toronto, Ontario, Canada on April 16th. And in the blink of an eye, everything changed.
I opened the door and it smelled like rain. Set foot to the path, I am on my way.
Due to an unfortunate injury, Josh underwent tricep surgery and is out indefinitely.
Injuries are extremely frustrating. When they take you out, they take you away from doing what you love. They take you away from earning money for your family. They take you out of everything that you've worked for. You've worked to get to this moment, you've worked to become a champion. And at that point, you get injured and takes you out. It's heartbreaking, it's depressing, and honestly, it takes a strong support system to get you through it, because if you're alone, you're gonna go down a dark hole, and that's easy to happen.
When I got injured, it was one of the worst things ever happened in my life. And I don't think the pain or the rehab or that kind of stuff really was what got me down. It was being home, being alone, not being able to do what I love, what I've done for the last almost 20 years, sitting at home on my couch and struggling in my head. Everything happens up here was way worse than the injury itself.
That is the nature of the business. Injuries can and will happen. Every injury has a story. Every scar is a roadmap to where they have been.
Your sister sold up the river, paving her days with a sigh. Sleepy village hangover.
I've had a torn pec I haven't had fixed. Tore my ACL, my PCL, and my MCL. Haven't had that fixed.
I remember here in this company wrestling you in a triple threat match. They splitting my lip all the way to the gum, leaking out all over the canvas. Fighting for opportunities at championships. We're always hurt.
I have separated both of my shoulders. I had surgery on my elbow where it was broken in half, so they basically opened me up, put a metal plate in there, screwed it back together, and those screws and plates are still in me today. I got an MCL surgery on my knee. I broke my heel. I broke my face, my orbital, and my nose.
Worst injury number one, I didn't just break my leg. I didn't just break my ankle. I shattered it. I broke my tibia and fibia. Normal people break their bones like this, so they might crack it. My bones were broken and on top of each other. My ankle was in 6 different pieces, stitches all over my body. If I had to like count them actually out, I've probably had easily 1,000 stitches in my life. I have a piece of glass still stuck in my elbow. Teeth completely messed up because of professional wrestling.
When you get hurt in the ring, you go to the back, and there's a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions going into it, because you're out in the ring, you have the adrenaline, you get hurt. Like when I broke my face, I broke my eye and my nose. I hit with a baseball bat. I immediately walked through the back, and everybody's checking on you. And it's great, but it can also be overwhelming because there's a lot going on. I didn't know at that moment if I was gonna lose my eye, if I was gonna be able to see again. So there's so much going on, but you feel the sense of community, and you feel that sense of family and brotherhood and sisterhood when you come through and people are genuinely concerned and checking on you.
Let's talk about this because we don't talk about this often. When Eddie Edwards got hit in the face by a baseball bat from yours truly, that wasn't planned. That was unpredictable. It was something that wasn't supposed to happen. And what was my first priority? People can say whatever they want about me, but they don't know what happens behind closed doors. As soon as we got to the bat, I was almost in tears. I was busting up about this. Heck, I might have been more upset about the issue than Eddie Edwards himself, but that's your priority about being a professional. When you're in the ring with someone, it doesn't matter if you like them, you don't matter if you hate them. If in this business, if someone gets hurt, you do everything in your power to make sure A, they're okay, and B, you both get out of there alive.
If my opponent gets injured in the ring, first and foremost, you check on them. You do the best you can to see if they can continue, how badly they're hurt, or if you need to stop the match. And that's where, some injuries are serious enough where you call the match off, or you go to the finish, you go right to the finish, and that's the end of it. Some, for the most part, pro wrestlers are crazy, and we'll work through anything. So we'll do whatever we can to fight through and get to the finish of the match. It's just working together. That's what we do. We take care of each other in the ring and outside the ring.
The story of Impact Wrestling cannot be told without the chapter of the Motor City Machine Guns. If you look at the current landscape of professional wrestling, Chris Saban and Alex Shelley's fingerprints are all over it.
When we first started competing, we were by far and away the smallest tag team, by far and away. And because of that, we had to customize our style, and I think that's part of the reason we were called the Machine Guns too, is because it was a rat-a-tat-tat style, right? We were so fast and so quick, we just had to strike at every opportunity from every direction. And I think that style of tag team wrestling has become more dominant if you look at the modern wrestling landscape, but certainly we were the pioneers, and it was something that was born out of necessity.
Chris Saban debuted with Impact Wrestling in April of 2003 after a recommendation from his trainer Scott D'Amore to Impact Wrestling founder, the King of the Mountain, Jeff Jarrett. He became the X Division champion just a month later.
Chris Saban, the new X Division champ!
Chris Saban would go on to win the X Division championship a record 8 times, and in 2013, he won the biggest prize in Impact Wrestling, the Impact Wrestling World Championship.
He hit him in the head with a hammer! Count 2! Yes! New champion! New champion!
Your new world heavyweight champion is Chris Saban.
Alex Shelley began his career in 2002, training in the Can-Am Dojo in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, under Scott D'Amore. He debuted in Impact Wrestling in the summer of 2004 and was with the company until 2012. Alex Shelley has won championships around the globe. He is highly regarded as one of the best in-ring technicians in all of professional wrestling. If you look at modern-day pro wrestling around the world, you will see the influence of Alex Shelley.
You look at the innovation that he's had in Impact Wrestling and really across the entire wrestling industry, and the hybrid style that he's really been at the forefront of creating, combining the world of sport with Japanese strong style with lucha libre. He really was one of the early people adapting and combining those styles.
I learned from him so many things.
There's actually nobody better than him. He can hang in the ring with absolutely anybody.
I saw Alex Shelley as one of the people that did exactly the style of wrestling I wanted to do.
I've always known, since the day I met him, how talented he was, how much he could contribute to the business, and after all these years, how much he has contributed.
The Motor City Machine Guns were born in 2007. They are the 3-time Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions of the world. They have revolutionized not only tag team wrestling, but professional wrestling as we know it today. ABC, Chris Bay, and Ace Austin are the combination of incomparable athleticism and undeniable charisma. They both began their careers in Impact Wrestling as members of the X Division. Chris Bay is a former X Division champion and revered as one of the fastest rising stars in all of professional wrestling. Ace Austin is a 3-time X Division champion. He is one of the most athletic professional wrestlers in the sport today, and by many has been labeled the next phenomenal AJ Styles. Ace and Bay grew up die-hard fans of Impact Wrestling and die-hard fans of the Motor City Machine Guns.
We are the greatest tag team of all time, but it's not just something that we say.
You know what? Detroit's experiencing a renaissance period. We revolutionized an entire industry.
The Guns win their 3rd Impact World Tag Team Championship.
It's one of those situations where I don't want to sound braggadocious, right? And say that we're the best, but we kind of are.
Look, we prove it, though.
Exactly.
We don't just say it, we prove it.
No. And we've got a lot of experience in Impact Wrestling, wrestling a lot of legendary tag teams, right? Like, I hate to say it, but ABC, Bay and Austin, they've never wrestled the Young Bucks. They've never wrestled the Briscoes. They've never wrestled Beer Money. They're never going to. They're never going to have that opportunity. Part of the reason we're great is because we had to be great. You can't hang with those teams unless you're great.
They've led the way for so long, and I was tired of riding backseat. I don't know about you.
No.
I like to whip it,
what
bro.
we do.
I like to speed in the fast lane, pedal to the flow, man, trying to get to some championships. That's what I like to do.
We have defeated Time Machine with our boy Kenta. We defeated the World Tag Team Champions, the Motor City Machine Guns.
Are the Motor City Machine Guns the best?
Of course they were.
Well, you run your mouth long enough, you're gonna hear from the boys from Detroit.
We are the best tag team in Impact Wrestling. In fact, we're the best damn tag team in the entire world.
And the entire world already knows that all we really need is one shot. My vision takes us to sacrifice.
How about instead of waiting to sacrifice, we do it tonight?
This could be a crowning moment for the boys of Bullet Club. Click, click, boom! Right out of the Guns playbook. Chris Saban out of the ring. There's the one. A finesse. And two. The fold. Is it sweet, baby? Is it it? Hot for Ace and Bay in Vegas. 2 generations clash. Ace and Bay stand tall as your new Impact World Tag Team Champions.
Any team can win on any day. But here's the thing with us and Ace and Bay. We've wrestled 3 times. We beat them, They beat us once. The advantage is on our side.
I agree. Anyone can beat anybody else in pro wrestling at any time. Any team can beat any other tag team, especially in Impact Wrestling, where the tag team division is so competitive. But there's a big difference between securing one win and carving out a legacy for a decade plus, which is what we've done.
When the time came and we finally got the championship opportunity that we wanted, we beat. And we can do it again.
And yeah, I get it. They're a different team since they went to New Japan and competed in the Junior Tag League, and they came back with some new tricks up their sleeves, but they're still not quite at our level.
No.
But I think they should have a chance to prove it.
So we have a rematch coming up at Rebellion.
The Motor City Machine Guns laid down the challenge.
How about instead of making it a regular tag team match, we make it an Ultimate X match? How do you feel about that?
Impact Wrestling's signature matchup, Ultimate X. You've got to be freaking kidding! Oh my God!
Ultimate X?
Yeah, pull your sunglasses off and think about it. Yeah. So that's why we're giving them the opportunity to defend their titles in Ultimate X, which they graciously accepted. I got to respect that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. We've been in way too many Ultimate X matches.
Yeah.
When's the last time that there was a tag team title, Ultimate X?
Might as well throw one more in there, huh?
At this point, it's old hat, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many they've had, but we've redefined that match.
We're not one-hit wonder kind of guys. We're not flash in the pan kind of guys. We're here making history on a regular basis.
Originally, when that match was first constructed, it was a singles match. We were the first people to really succeed in a tag team setting with the Ultimate X opponents. And I don't think they have any experience in a tag team Ultimate X match, whereas we have copious amounts.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep. I don't see them practicing capture the flag or spare time or anything like that.
And really, truly, that's what it is, right? It's the most dangerous game to capture the flag. So we'll see if they can put their money where their mouth is. But really, this is a very, very cerebral match. And quite frankly, we have every advantage going into it.
It gets so dangerous, it gets so chaotic, it gets so crazy when you're falling from 15 feet above. It's wicked in there. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't like this match.
At Rebellion, we're gonna find out when you beat us if that was just any team beating another team on any given day, or is this gonna be the start of your legacy?
When it comes to Rebellion, when it comes to the Ultimate X, when it comes to facing the Motor City Machine Guns, this match where we put these on the line, the main thing that matters to us is teaching you guys a lesson. The greatest lesson you'll ever learn.
Hey, and look, we've learned a lot of lessons from the Motor City Machine Guns.
We have.
But if there's one thing that we can one piece of wisdom that we can part with, that we can teach the Motor City Machine Guns.
Switch the roles. It's simple. ABC,
easy. As one, as two, sweet.
Josh Alexander is the longest reigning Impact Wrestling World Champion in history. A championship that he held an unprecedented 348 days.
Looking at Jen! Looking at Jen! Finally! Finally! Finally!
We rise above.
Alexander crumbles the Stone Pitbull!
Josh Alexander is great wrestler, great champion. I have huge respect.
There's the heart! There's the soul of Impact Wrestling! Alexander puts down the monster!
Surpassing such Hall of Famers as the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, the icon Sting, and the phenomenal AJ Styles. A master in-ring mat technician.
This has been an hour coming! The Iron Man Josh Alexander lives up to his nickname!
His accolades speak for themselves.
Alexander turns away Shelley!
An X Division champion. A two-time World Tag Team champion. A two-time Impact World champion. Just the 9th Triple Crown winner in Impact history. And in 2022, Josh Alexander was voted the Impact Wrestler of the Year.
You've taken every single person out in your way. And I've watched, I have planned, and I have waited.
He is on the path to take his place among the pantheon of the greatest of all time. Steve Macklin has had his sights set on the Impact Wrestling World Championship since his debut in 2021. Macklin overcame obstacle after obstacle after obstacle and was set to face Josh Alexander at Rebellion for the Impact Wrestling Championship.
There are no countouts, no disqualifications in this match. A first man to gain pinfall or submission is the winner. KIA! KIA! Macklin is going to Rebellion!
What else is there to be said? I have said it for over a year that I would stack bodies one by one. Former world champion after former world champion to earn my right at the Impact World title. I did just that by beating 3 other men. And now you are looking at the #1 contender for the Impact World title at Rebellion. The outcome is going to be the same, and you are looking at the new Impact World Champion. Tag him, bag him, and mayhem for all. I wanted my moment to be the guy that beats the longest reigning champion in history. That's what I win. You lose everything. Yes, you are the longest reigning champion, but it'll always be said that you were beat by Steve Macklin.
Steve Macklin gets his shot at Rebellion, finally. But that match is not going to be against me if I overlook Kushida. When we got into the ring, the New Japan's Battle in the Valley, and that man locked me in a hoverboard lock long after the match was done. But Sacrifice, I think that's my opportunity to send a message back to you, Kushida. So I'm laying out the challenge. 6-man tag at Sacrifice. Saban, Shelley, Kushida, Time Machine, against me and whatever 2 partners I find.
Joe, look at you and your little pity team here, right? What are they, the guys that you've already beaten that are not threats to you?
Steve Macklin has raised the question as Alexander's picked teammates in Kazarian and Swan that are people he believes to be non-threats. Thinking about the C-Force. Hold on, what is Alexander looking at? What's Macklin doing out here?
And Josh sees him too.
Alexander saw Macklin, the art of finesse, the fold, Babe, and Swan. What does this mean for Team Alexander against Time Machine at Sacrifice? And Josh Alexander has some business to deal with in the form of Steve Macklin.
A couple years ago, I saw Steve kick down the door in this company with a chip on his shoulder. That man busted his ass to climb to the top to have his shot at this, and he has left a trail of bodies behind him. Where I lose all respect for Steve is when I hear him say, I've been ducking him. See, Steve's waiting for all these other challengers to wear me down so he can capitalize.
I am obsessed with winning the Impact World title. If you don't believe me, look at the footage. You hit hard. You're one of the best technical wrestlers, so why would I not scout you?
You've done your homework, you've scouted me, you say you're ready. I say, why wait for Rebellion?
You wanted to fight me in Vegas? No. I'm doing this my way. And if I'm taking that title off of you, and if I'm gonna beat the longest reigning Impact World Champion in history, I'm gonna do that in your hometown, at Rebellion.
Steve Macklin revealing nearly a year of obsession with the Impact World Championship.
That was my plan. And in breaking news,
Josh Alexander is out indefinitely with a torn triceps. This changes everything for Sacrifice. This changes everything for the Impact World Championship. What does this mean for Impact Wrestling?
Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, being injured. A year's hard work of reconnaissance and figuring every single thing about you. Gone.
ジョシュ・アレキサンダーと本当に僕は戦いたかったんですけど、残念ながら怪我ということで
Impact Wrestling quickly announced that on April 16th in Toronto, Canada, Steve Macklin will face Kushida at Rebellion to determine who the new Impact Wrestling World Champion will be.
The mission is still the same. Different plan, different opponent, same mission.
当初からね、チャンピオンになったら next challenger is Steve Macklin.
Kushida, another product of the famed Can-Am dojo under Scott D'Amore, is a 6-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion.
の会社を辞めて本当に無一文で何の後ろ盾もなくカナダウィンザーに来てカンナムレスリングスクールスコット・ダモールの
It was New Japan's Battle in the Valley where we got to see a little taste of what Kushida is capable of. His hoverboard lock has been devastating as of late. That's led to speculation, Scott, that what took place that night in San Jose may have led to the torn triceps injury of Josh Alexander.
Josh Alexander is a competitor. He's a warrior. A lot of people would have tapped out, and Kushida held on to it there. That's something about Kushida. There's a little bit of a nasty streak to him. He wants to be the world champion.
Along with Alex Shelley as the Time Splitters, a 2-time IWGP Junior Tag Team Champion. He was the winner of the Best of the Super Juniors in 2015 and 2017, and the Super J Cup in 2016, and a former NXT Cruiserweight Champion.
And people thought Kushida had my number at Sacrifice. Just because I tapped out so quick, I got what I wanted. And I got to see who Kushida is. And here we are, Josh being on display to get his own moment of vacating the title that should be handed directly to me.
348 days he has reigned as the Impact World Champion, and as we learned a few weeks ago before the Sacrifice event, Josh Alexander suffered a torn triceps and required surgery immediately. The surgery was successful, however, the byproduct, he unfortunately must relinquish the Impact World Championship. Josh is accompanied tonight by his wife Jen and their son Jet.
4 years ago, you slapped a contract on my chest and signed me to Impact Wrestling. I stand here the longest reigning champion, world champion in this company's history, because I had fully intended on coming in here and competing in this ring and defending this championship against the same fans that saw me come up from a pimply-faced kid with a dream to being the best goddamn pro wrestler in the world. Kushida, you are one of the most gifted, ruthless, technical wrestlers I have ever been in the ring with. And clearly, I know better than most the damage that hoverboard lock can do. Macklin, I may not agree with your methods, but you have earned your shot at this world championship. Now, neither of you can take this championship from me right now, but I have too much respect for that man, for that locker room, for this company, for everyone that's held this championship before me to not stand here with my chin up and relinquish this championship.
Scott, do what you should be doing, hand me that title. Because we know this is how it was gonna go. That title was going straight from Josh to me. And in this reality, Josh, you fear me. And this is your way out. Jet, your father is no hero.
Listen! You want to question the most fighting champion this company's ever had? You don't want to face him when he's ready to fight, because if you did, when he threw out an open challenge, you would have accepted it like Mike Bailey did. And you want me to hand you this championship belt? Well, that's not happening here today, and it's not happening unless you win it in this ring.
At Rebellion, I am going to be 100%.
I know what's coming with the hoverboard. Obviously, I can see that with Josh when you put pride in the way. And here we have Kushida, sticking up, doing the right thing for Josh, for Scott.
テンポも荒い。荒いだけじゃなくて確かに強いですし。I am Kushida, next Impact World Champion.